Hello and good evening to you all. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't seen our broadcast, I'm right on cue, Lawrence. Look at that. We are being joined by the four-legged feline variety. If you've just joined us here this evening, thank you so much for being with us. We're really, really delighted to have you with us. If you're watching on a catch-up, you're also in exactly the right place. And all of this works no matter what time you're watching this, whether you're with us live at 6:30 on Sunday on the 4th of July, or you're watching this on a catch-up. All of that lovely healing energy that we're going to generate this evening and all of the wisdom will hit you exactly where it needs to at the right time. My name's Ashley and I'm going to be hosting this evening this really special broadcast for the National Day of Thanks. And my guest this evening, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome the lovely Wendy Wharton from Weymouth. How are you doing, Wendy?
I'm fine, thank you, Ashley. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Boggy.
And it's my absolute pleasure to welcome back good friend Lawrence Savill from Poole. How are you doing, Lawrence?
I was absolutely fine until Charlie decided, oh, but no, thank you. It's a great privilege and honour to be part of this tonight. So thank you for inviting me.
Super. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for all of you who are joining us. A few names that have popped up. It's really lovely that you join in with the community that happens online during these broadcasts and say hello to your friends and people that are joining to watch the broadcast. Hello to Phil and to lovely Linda Marie. Hope that you're all keeping well. To Susan, lovely Jamie. Hi, Jamie. To Dawn and Marion and Sue. So good to have you with us. And everyone who's watching on a watch party, just remember we won't be able to see your comments, so you'll need to come to the homepage of the Light Christian Spiritualist Church to leave a comment. So good to have you with us. Hello, Wendy. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well up there. And hello to lovely Nikki and Phil. Lovely to have you with us. So what is today all about, and why did this idea come to do this service? Well, a couple of weeks ago I saw on the news that disappointingly we had the news that lockdown was going to be delayed, but nevertheless there was an idea that was proposed by a very young person in the scouting movement for a day of saying thank you. And they said, the Americans and our friends in the USA have the 4th of July as their Independence Day, and that was obviously the day that we were going to originally have planned. But there was a decision to use this as the National Day of Thanks. And actually, I think we've all seen, haven't we, the people that have come into our lives over the last year, the friends that we've made. Certainly, Laurie, people joining from all over the globe to join in with this broadcast, and the means of broadcasting that message of hope and healing and renewal, and a means of transmitting that faith and prayer across the airwaves. The people that have come into our lives, whether we're talking to our neighbours more, the people in our family that matter to us. We've seen life changing, and so it seems really important and fitting that we use today as a National Day of Thanks. And so the idea for this service was born to bring this service to you so that you can create some space in your Sunday evening to say thank you to all of those people, both here and our loved ones in the spirit that are drawing close to us, I'm sure. So what's also really important is I found out today during a church service this morning that today is actually the day in the Orthodox calendar where we separate, we celebrate, I should say, not separated. We celebrate all of the saints that have gone before us. And there was one very important saint I wanted to talk about, which was Saint Whit. And you may not have heard about her, but she actually is local to Dorset. And she came from not far down the road in Charmouth. And she's a very ancient saint. She predates the Norman conquest, and she was one of the 2 saints' remains and places of pilgrimage that survived the Reformation. So she was very, very important. Not many people know about her. And she was believed to be an abbess in and around the Charmouth area. And it was her job to light the beacons on the cliffs so that people could see in the darkness. And I thought, what a very, very special person to remember and reflect on today. And what's really interesting is if you visit her shrine in Dorset still to this day, people still leave hopes of prayers and healing, and she's become a real beacon of light in that community, that people travel from all over the world to come and to be in the presence of the energy of that beautiful healing energy. So I just wanted to leave that thought with you of what we're about today, and that energy of healing and devotion and against all odds, really, doing whatever it is that we can. And for her, it was walking on the cliffs and lighting the beacons. And on that note, we're going to open our service this afternoon. And so if you'd like to light your candles, we're going to light our beacons. We're going to light our beacons to send out that message of love and hope to people that are watching, creating that sacred space around ourselves, and lighting it as a symbol with our intention that we're creating a beacon of light for the spirit world and all of those people who need it at the moment. So I'm going to light my candle for us. In the spirit of that light, Saint Wit. Beautiful. So friends, if you'd like to join me in prayer. And as we come together on this very special evening, creating this energy of sacred space around us, feeling in our hearts the presence of that divine mystery around us and through us, feeling that breath of God in our lives, taking this time to reflect and recognize on all of those miracles and all of those instances that happen in our lives where we feel touched by the majesty and the miracle of a healing that's happened. When we recognize those events that happen around us, where we're brought into service to support people, we recognize the presence of that beloved spirit around us and our loved ones in the spirit world that come close to be with us during these times of reflection and silence. And we ask that we can be part of this unfolding understanding, that we can act as beacons of light for those people around us, that by displaying our own courage and our own faith and speaking openly of our commitment to love and being a beacon of light in this world, that people will be drawn to that. And they will ask us questions, and we will be blessed by finding the correct words to say that are perfect for that time, because we've seen it happen time and time again. And so we would like to leave the spirit of love and healing and upliftment over this service, knowing that people will get whatever it is that they need to have at this time. And we ask that all things will be done this evening in your name, which is divine love and all things. Amen.
Amen.
And so I would like to hand over to Wendy to lead us into a healing prayer, and then we will have a short couple of moments of reflection for you to send your love and your healing out to people who need it most at this time.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for your lovely opening prayer as well. I'm very grateful for lots of things, and one of the things I am very grateful for are our pioneers who paved the way for us to do what we're doing. And I happened to spot on the shelf my book about Harry Edwards, and unusually I've actually chosen to read something that I haven't been inspired to make myself as a healing prayer, but I thought this was really appropriate. So if you just like to close your eyes and go into that reflective space, as we remember Harry and all the work he did for healers all over the world. May I be thankful for all the blessings I already have. Grant me relief from pain and sickness, protect me from all ills, and grant me good health in all my days to come. Remove all causes of imperfection and bring the healing ministries close to me, so that I may be conscious of their presence and so receive guidance and inspiration. Grant me courage and fortitude to overcome all adversities. Let me be conscious of thy strength in all times of need, to give me confidence to overcome my fears and not to anticipate fear. Teach me how to live rightly in thy sight, to do only that which is right and true. I pray that good guidance and right influence will inspire all thy peoples to be as brothers, one to the other, and that peace shall endure for all time. Amen. And if you remain in that little space for a minute, if you want to just remain in that space just before Ashley puts on the music, and imagine your heart being filled with love and light and being emitted out through the whole of your being to go to other places, to those people we know and don't know, to all people, regardless of their creed, regardless of their circumstances, and allow them to feel the love and the healing that we all send this evening. Give them hope for the future. Hope that everybody loves them, that Spirit, their God, is close by their side, and never to lose hope. For despite all its many, many faults, the world is still a very beautiful, beautiful place. And just stay within that moment, please, and send as much healing and love as you can to all the people watching, to dear Ashley and Lawrence who are on here at the moment, and all our loved ones in spirit, all our ancestors who have walked before us.
Thank you everybody for joining in with that lovely healing session, Wendy, and healing attunement. Thank you. So, friends, before I invite Laurie to come and offer his reading that he's chosen for us this evening and his thoughts, I wanted to play a short video for all of you who are watching who wish to recognise today as a National Day of Thanks, and just to focus our thoughts really on what it is that we're coming together to give gratitude for today. So this is a few minutes, a short video for you. Lovely. Thank you, everybody. And I'd now like to invite Lawrence. What have you chosen for us, Lawrence?
Good evening. A little bit of a mixture chosen tonight. Going through various readings relating to gratitude, there seemed to be a common thread coming up, and they were all very short quotes. And actually, I just sat and pondered on that for a while, and I thought, do you know what? I get some of this energy. I get what's being said here. So to start with, I'll just share some of these short quotes that we've found on the wonderful, wonderful internet. So Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "I awake this morning with devout thanksgiving for my friends, the old and the new." Voltaire wrote, "Appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well." There's a Vietnamese proverb of, "When eating fruit, remember the one who planted the tree." And then Charlotte Bronte, "For my part, I am almost contented just now and very thankful. Gratitude is a divine emotion. It fills the heart, but not to bursting. It warms it, but not to fever." And when I was going through those, I thought, yes, this is capturing the simplicity of gratitude, of deep gratitude, and really anchoring in on that energy in which it is given and also received. You know, it's very easy to say, oh, thank you for things. We're just being polite. It's going through a machination way. Yes, thank you for this. Thank you for that. And it's not really an exchange of energy. But when you do reach down to those levels of deep gratitude, and we've all had those times during these last 15 months to be extremely grateful to someone, be it coming round delivering food, be it somebody phoning up to see if you're okay, be it where you've had to visit doctors and nurses, whatever that landscape is where that gratitude unfolds from. It's a real strong exchange of energies on the spiritual level. Because when you give gratitude, you are giving an energy, a real pulsating, deep energy that is received as well. But also in receiving, it's a bit like passing the parcel in a way, because it's one of those energies that will keep moving if we allow it to. When we have gratitude given, excuse me, or received, we are in possession of that energy. So we've received that gratitude. It's inspired us. It's very inspirational energy, because it really touches us on a very much deeper level. Yeah, again, I go back to just the way we talk. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no worries. And yeah, that's wonderful. Very polite. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Go back. Thank you. Wonderful in its politeness. But when it is that heartfelt gratitude, we move on to a totally different level. Absolutely. And we here in the spiritual family will understand that and be able to convey that and relate to that as well. Times when we have received that gratitude from others and when we have expressed that gratitude as well. Because it's not just a mechanical motion, it's not just a glib remark, it's not just something born of convention or whatever. It really comes from the heart. And we know within the spiritual movement and beyond that the heart center is the giver, the creator of all things. This is where love comes from. And I do mean that deep, deep meaning of true love. So gratitude flows from that heart center, conveyed in that love energy. And it has real impact. It makes a real difference. It's one of those things that sticks with people. They remember. I always say when you have a deeply spiritual moment, years later you can recall it like that. you can recall every single detail. Some of us, like me, are getting to the age we find it quite difficult to remember what we had for breakfast. But going back in time, I remember those times when people touched my life, when they made a difference. And we're not talking massive things. We're not talking monetary, financial, material gain. Just doing something. And it really touched. And in fact, today, and how timely is this, you've probably seen on the post, one of the ladies who's associated with the church, and she's so clever. She's done this stained glass using recycled glass, a pair of angel wings, because she just wanted to say thank you to the church for the programming, for the services and all that. And do you know what? When she walked across the road, I knew what it was. I just knew what it was. And I was sort of like being a bit butch and tough and blinking back. Because, you know, it's the love that is conveyed with. It really does. Gratitude is that one raw emotion that strips away all the others. There are no other emotions mixed up with the gratitude. When you operate on that level and in that energy, it's so pure, it's so simple. And when we look back over the 15 months we've all gone through, there are so many people out there, so many examples. As it was Captain Tom to begin with, how amazing, and how much gratitude from people. And not just gratitude, but also celebratory as well. For somebody who's saying, do you know what? I'm going to make a difference. I'm just going to give. And how awesome is that? How awesome that his example and many, 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 many others is just echoed throughout the land. Sadly, in these days, people seem to find it easier to criticize and condemn than to celebrate. That's fine. That's their energy. Let them get on with it. But we ourselves, when we see these moments of deep gratitude expressed, thank you. Not just the word, because it's a whole package when you say it from that level and that energy of gratitude. Thank you. You made a difference. You brightened up my day. You helped me. Whatever it is, it matters not. And when we are operating on that level, I find also amazing, we never accept that in any other fashion than being receptive to that energy. There's no ego attached to it. There's no financial gain attached to it. There's nothing else attached to it. It is just two spirits in this world, incarnate, exchanging energies, purely, simply, directly, in and through love. And that love energy is operating both on the receiver and the giver. It's so fine, so refined, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, almost like gossamer. It's just so fine, and it's there for that moment, but it leaves its imprint on your heart forever. So yes, look back, look around you, look at friends, look at families, organizations, it matters not, and express that deep gratitude freely. Just give, because once you open up the heart and you act in love, from there you are calling in the divine also. And that is so true, because when you operate in love, where else would the divine be but operating through you? So just a few thoughts to think about. Thank you.
Goodness, thank you so much, Lawrence. That was beautiful. Beautiful. And spirit were very close. Love that. Love that. Thank you. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. My goodness. Andrea, really enjoyed that. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Really pleased that touched your hearts, Andrea and Phil. Thank you so much for showing your appreciation. Yeah, it was beautiful. Thank you so much, Lawrence. So Wendy, I'm going to hand over that energy. Lawrence described it so beautifully, that interaction, that interplay of energy. So pass the energy to you, Wendy. What have you picked for us today? Thank you, Lawrence. Oh, you're on mute, Wendy. Sorry, let me unmute you.
And how do I? Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now? Sorry about that. That was really beautiful, Lawrence. Really, I absolutely agree with you. Attitude of gratitude from our dear Lord Buddha and love. There's nothing else really, is there? So thank you. I've chosen something called A Blessing for the Journey, and it's about our journey of life. Let us vow to bear witness to the wholeness of life, realizing the completeness of each and everything. Embracing our differences, I shall know myself as you, and you as myself. May we serve each other for all the days, here, there, and everywhere. Let us vow to open ourselves to the abundance of life, freely giving and receiving. I shall care for you, for the trees and the stars as treasures of my very own. May we be grateful for all the days of our life, here, there, and everywhere. Let us vow to forgive all hurt caused by ourselves and others, and never condone hurtful ways. Being responsible for my actions, I shall free myself, and you, will you free me too? May we be kind for all of our days, here, there, and everywhere. And may we use our love and power to heal all peoples and animals, here, there, and everywhere. May the love of our ancestors smile down upon us and infuse us with the wisdom and tolerance, and may the Great Spirit allow us to use the healing power within each and every one of us for the good of all each day, here, there, and everywhere. And let us vow to remember that in all that appears will also disappear, in the midst of uncertainty, but I shall show you love here, now, and everywhere. And I call to you, let us live together in the great peace that we truly are, here, there, and everywhere. I really, really like that. I don't know what you call it, writing. It's actually by a senso, or sensei. To me, it just says exactly, I think, in a different way, that what Lawrence has just said, that really to be thankful, to love, to be loved, to pass on our healing. Anybody can be a healer. It's within us all, to go deep into that heart space and feel love and compassion for other people, particularly people that aren't as well off as we are, people who are struggling, people with mental illness who have found it really tough in these last 15 months. I know they have. A lot of my friends are suffering at the moment. So for me, it's about giving of ourselves absolutely freely, no conditions attached, just giving because we are spiritual beings on a spiritual journey, and to give love to other people, to give gratitude, to give thanks, no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you travel, whoever you come across. It doesn't matter what religion somebody is, what their thoughts and their beliefs are. It is up to us to go into that space that is deep and draw out every ounce of love and gratitude and peace and healing. And even if you don't say anything, as Lawrence just so beautifully put about his talk on gratitude, you can feel that energy. You don't even have to say a word, but be there. So I really think, we are responsible for our own actions. We are responsible for bringing happiness and healing to other people. And it is their free will whether or not they accept it. And we must always remember that. We can't make people believe what we believe. We can't make people accept it, but we can pass it on with love. And certainly for me, when I do healing or a talk like this, I can feel spirit around me. But particularly when I'm healing, I feel the power, not just of my healing guide, but of all my ancestors gathering around me, filling my heart and my hands and my whole being with their love and their power. And I think if we just sit sometimes and call that in and pass that on across the world, across the ether, the world truly would be a peaceful place and a beautiful place. So thank you, and thank you again, Lawrence and Ashley, for taking part in this service of absolute gratitude and love. And gratitude and love to all of you, my dear friends. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Oh my goodness, we've been gifted with some real treasures. Hello to you, Marion, and hello, Sherry Ann. Lovely to have you with us. Really, really resonating with what you were saying as well. And isn't it wonderful how your two readings and the thoughts that Spirit have been around you today have kind of just meshed together beautifully, which is the way it works, isn't it? Yep. It's the way it works when you're inspired. Really, really gorgeous. Thank you. So we'll be interested, friends. As you know, we like to run an interactive ship here. If anyone has any thoughts or any examples that they want to bring of examples that they are grateful for, if we could not mention people's names because this is a live broadcast that's going out onto Facebook, but just any circumstances that you're grateful for, it'd be really lovely for you to share them. It's a lovely energy to send out into the world, as Lawrence so beautifully put. It continues to do its healing work by saying thank you. It's really important for us to do that. Oh, thank you, Jamie. Really lovely sentiments and meaningful words. They are really beautiful. And I think some of the things that you said were really interesting, both of you. And one thing that I'd like to reflect on from hearing you speak is that some people are having to relearn a vocabulary, a soulful, a spiritual vocabulary that's not really been in common parlance for the vast majority of people in society. If you don't kind of belong to a faith, or you don't regularly go to church, or you don't regularly kind of read or have those kind of thoughts, sometimes saying thank you, as you beautifully put, makes us feel a little bit uncomfortable. We kind of slip into mechanical statements because it can feel a little bit awkward, can't it? Saying thank you to people and receiving the compliments, even more excruciating sometimes. But by recognizing it's a love, an expression of love, that they see something in you, they see something which is selfless, or something which is, you've gone out of your way to do something. It's kind of that statement, isn't it? The God in me recognizes the God in you. And that is a really, really special moment. So people are learning a new vocabulary, aren't they? So thank you. Yeah. Sorry, Laurie, I've muted you again. I'll unmute you. There we go.
No. I've muted myself actually because I've got somebody moaning. Yes, unaccustomed as I am.
You know how this works.
No, it is so true especially about the new vocabulary, because people have found, I believe, new depths to themselves, because we've all had our mortality challenged. Never before have we had this situation. And certainly in those first few months, people, hand on heart, I was scared, and a lot of other people were scared. But it made you think. It made you stop. And it made you look at actually what is of value. You know, is it working yourself 24/7 to get that new car, or is it the person that you wake up to the next morning? And it's just been a wondrous journey for some people. Sadly, some people have gone their different ways, but it's also brought people together. We've been taught this new understanding, this new value of just being able to look now out of the window, this glorious sun, green trees, even the reflection in the puddles. It's just like suddenly things mean something again. We're more awake. We're not in that trough that we used to be in.
I agree with you, Lawrence. I think the other thing is
beautifully said. And I find it quite interesting to reflect on.
Sorry, go on, Ashley. sorry, I thought you were going to say something. I think the other thing is, if you can hear me, is that...
Yeah, we can hear you, Wendy.
Sorry, is I think people, when they think of gratitude, they think it has to be something really, really big. But actually, it can be something really small. You know, seeing, you know, something really simple. Like the other day, we had a crow taking a bath in our little pond out in our front garden. And Alan and I just stood at the window and watched this crow just having a wonderful time, and then coming out and bathing, you know, sunbathing on the lawn to dry his feathers off. And we both said at the same time, aren't we lucky to have seen that? We were so grateful. It doesn't have to be the big things, does it? Like Lawrence was saying about cars and things. None of that, nothing material is important. You know, it's how we love, isn't it? The interactions we have with our loved ones. And I won't tell you the whole story because we haven't got time and it's probably boring. But many, many years ago, I worked with some very, very disabled children. And I worked in a big children's hospital. And it totally, although I've always been a sort of person that's grateful, it made me so grateful to have my cousins and my family around me, and probably grateful also. I mean, I've always believed in spirit, but grateful that I had the strength to help people. We used to be on the admissions ward, so a lot of parents put their children in because they couldn't cope anymore. And to find the strength from somewhere, not to actually keep crying, but to offer them strength when they had to leave their children and then look after their children who quite often passed away, it made me so grateful for all the little things I had in my life. And I vowed from that moment, and I'm talking way over 40 years ago, to wake up every morning and say thank you for allowing me another day, but before I go to bed, to say thank you for at least 5 things, little things that I'm grateful for. And I'm just a reminder to people, it doesn't have to be the big things, this is the little things. You know, being here together this evening, I mean, what a privilege to have our lovely friends watching online, but the little things, seeing a flower open, smelling a rose, it doesn't have to be something massive. So yeah, it's just, I agree with you, Lawrence, it doesn't have to be a big car. The important things are love, aren't they? The way we love each other, our friends. So yeah, I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
Indeed. As some may know, I'm rather fond of cake. I am rather fond. I'm rather partial to a bit of cake. And one of the things I'm eternally grateful for was, especially during the first lockdown when it was so new, so like, what is going on? Every now and then there'll be a knock at the door and I'll go down, open the door, and there'll be a cake. But do you know what? In that cake, there was so much. All right, yeah, it's cake. Great, happy days. I love cake. But it's the thought. Somebody's sat there and thought, do you know what? He would like this. I live on my own, as you know. Well, I don't live on my own. I have 2 mistresses, the cats, who tell me to do everything. And apart from that, I'm on my own. So I only eat what I cook. I don't do takeaways. I'm not partial to takeaways anyway. But just to have that thought, you know, and everything that's gone into it. So somebody has sat there and thought, you know what, I'm going to make him a cake. So they get the ingredients. They make the cake with love. They turn it out, they cool it, they wrap it. They drive down, leave it on the doorstep. There's so much just represented in just that one slice of cake, and beautiful. But please, no more. I'm trying to.
We all hear you on that one, Lawrence. Thank you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and I'm really interested in your thoughts, really, on this language, this new language that we're learning. This language of. And I'm really interested how there's a real resurgence, and I know I've spoken to both of you kind of ad nauseum about this, a real resurgence in interest in the philosophy of faith. And it doesn't have to be just be spiritualism and all spirituality. There's a real yearning, there's a real heart yearning for that. And it feels like a really normal thing. If you kind of break it down into human behavior, it's a really normal thing to do, that when we're under pressure, that there is this need for our brain to rationalize what's going on and to feed into kind of things that we read on the TV or things that we're told, and we try and rationalize it and work it out. But then there's this real soul yearning for, there's got to be a map out of this, because we have that knowing in that ancient part of ourselves that civilizations have been through cycles of change and adaptation. And so there's got to be a way through. There's got to be a map somewhere. And our soul knows the way, that is to turn to that philosophy. But my intuition is we've just been out of the loop. We've been out of the way of talking like that. And like I said, unless you have a faith background, in some ways, it's our job to try and help people articulate what it is they're trying to describe, what feelings they're trying to describe, and what it is they're looking for. And they might come in through the church because they've heard that a spiritualist church is a good place to go and they're really nice people, and you know, there's that assurance of life hereafter. But I think there's more to it than that, isn't there? It's breaking it down to the simple pieces of life a lot of the time.
Indeed. We're probably all familiar with the old term of a foxhole conversion. That it was very understood that during the war years that people would be going out fighting for whatever, who not necessarily had any background in any sort of faith, religion or understanding, just lived life as they did. However, when it came to the time of being heavy under fire, and I remember my dad talking about this, he said, you've never heard so many men call out to God in that time. Because again, it's awakened that knowledge. Yeah. You know, to be able to call out to somebody means you have that prior knowledge. And as I think you quite rightly put there, it's in our lineage, it's in our ancestry. So therefore it's in our genes. And it just needs those conditions to be brought to the fore. And certainly, you know, from March, when the UK went into the lockdown, those conditions were prevalent then, because it was that fear, that not knowing, not understanding. And however, that has also given rise to this inner knowledge of, I know there's something more, but maybe I don't know what it is. Maybe I have an inkling of that way to go. Maybe I'm fully conversant with my way forward. But it just sort of like kickstart that inner gene feeling of going, yeah, I know I need something. I need to understand more. I need to get more involved. And when you think about it, could follow that thought process through, I need to know more about it. The next logical step is why? Well, I believe that your soul, your spirit already knows that answer, is on that path with you to make you conscious, aware of things, to be able to handle things better, to be able to understand your step, to be able to release yourself from fear and turn to love, and to be able to offer out that hand and give that thanks and just give that gratitude for being and being able to help. So very interesting times.
Yeah. My heart's very full right now, actually. Just having this conversation, my heart is very, very full and very hopeful. I'm feeling that lovely gratitude energy. Is such a privilege to be here with you both. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody who's watching. Hopefully you've taken, well, I know, because that's how this intelligence works, isn't it? That you will have heard, something will have lodged in your heart that's really important to you, something that resonates with you. So just before I invite Lawrence to do our closing prayer to close our service, I just wanted to leave you with a short reading, which is from one of my favourites, John O'Donoghue, which is called For Citizenship, which I thought was really good, something to kind of galvanize us, to surge us forward through the rest of the summer as a spiritual community, as your place in your community, your family, being that kind of beacon of light, that saint wit for the people in your life. And so the reading goes, in these times when anger is turned into anxiety and they are replacing all of the lines on the horizon, The industry of distraction makes us forget that we live in a universe, and we become converts to the religion of stress, and we adore the deity of its progress in our life. Some may say that we may have lost the courage not to stay lost in the familiar places. But now come and kneel down. Come and kneel before the poor to discover what we must do, to turn our anxiety into righteous service and to find our way back home. And that just spoke to me about finding our way back home, and some of the things that we've been talking about today, that we've had some time. And this feels very much like we're finding our way back home and helping others do that as well through that act of service and gratitude. So thank you so much, everybody. It feels really lovely to be here in this space. We were saying before we started, weren't we, Laurie and Wendy? It feels really lovely to be back in this space again. It feels so intimate when you're online like this. Really gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much for your beautiful words, and for everybody who's watching. So, Laurie, I'm going to hand over to you for our closing prayer, if I may.
You may indeed. So, dear friends, just pause for this short time. Just turn your thoughts inwards. Find that thread of the divine that runs through all things. And we remember with love, with honour, with sincerity, all those who have returned back to the spirit realms within this past troubled times. Their memories, their love, their works will continue to live on through us, in us, and by our hands guided by their thoughts. And we celebrate those ones who stepped forward, who thought or said, or just simply accepted the knowledge that they could make a difference. And if that difference only applied to one other spirit walking this world in the incarnate, it matters not. For all things done in service, carried out in love and in helpfulness, are acts and acknowledgement of that divine spirit, that God of our own understanding, of his hand at work. For where it is said, not a sparrow falls, also not a good deed is unseen. So we leave this night remembering with honour and dignity those dear ones who have passed beyond the veil, and thinking too, especially of those ones who picked up the mantle and walked unafraid, carrying their light into the darkness. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Whatever you are up to for the rest of your evening, just take this beautiful energy with you, and for your own private time with your loved ones in the spirit world. But for now, it's cheerio, and thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much, Wendy and Lawrence. It's been an absolute honour. Thank you so much.
Thank you for organising it. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheerio. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.
God bless you all.
Bye.
Bye.